It's over opinionated. It's over opinionated with Josh Cott.
Hey everyone, we're here with Mr. Cornett here. He is the 46th Republican nominee for the House of Delegates. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on.
Good.
Thanks for coming on the show. And I always try to get some people that are running for local office, statewide office. A lot of people forget how important this statewide is.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you having me, and it's all of our elections are important for sure.
Yeah. So, well, I just wanted to ask you, what made you want to run for delegate?
Well, I serve on the board of supervisors in Grayson County now, and it's going on 2 years. I've been a supervisor, and I've been in the Republican Party as the vice chairman of the party, and I've been the interim chair here recently, and I just felt like could make a bigger impact and really help our area a lot and be a good representative, because in Southwest Virginia we're definitely outnumbered in numbers and population, but we have a large land mass. We have a lot of people that really need help, and we need economic revitalization and that type of thing. So that's one of my big things. I just really want to help the community and our district and all of Southwest Virginia, because the 46 districts, Grayson County, Smith County, Wythe County, and part of Pulaski County, but usually what's good for the 46 districts is good for the remainder of Southwest Virginia.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah, I gotcha. Your phone connection's breaking a little bit, but I think we got it all. I think we can hear it all pretty well, decent. But if anyone's wondering what's a little staticky, that's why. But it's not a big deal. I got what's your plans to help the 46th district and Southwest Virginia? Do you have anything specific that you'd like to put into legislation, or?
Yeah, I'm promoting some economic development. Hoping to get on the Tobacco Commission and just further utilizing that and encouraging counties to do that. I think in the past the counties sometimes don't know all the resources available, and a lot of these projects really just take advocates and a legislator and somebody just really to get up there and fight for funding in the state budget and from the Tobacco Commission and other avenues, and that's my goal to bring in some economic development here and just really help our citizens.
Yeah, that would be great. So when you say economic development, what is there anything in particular you're trying to bring to the area, or?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of along I-81 in Pulaski, Smith and Wythe. 3 out of the 4 counties have 81 counties, and 77 some of Smith also. I'm an advocate for having shovel-ready sites ready to go, and I think we've got a little bit of work to do in some of the counties to have that. So whenever we do have these opportunities for big businesses, big employers to come in, that you just have to have those sites ready for them to go, and that's important because with inflation and everything else, the local tax burden, the local government costs are going up every year, and the local tax burden is going to go up if we can't meet that increase with inflation and increasing costs. If we can't meet that with economic development revenue, it's going to have to be made up of local tax dollars. So we have to try to avoid that. We have to create good jobs and bring as much money into the area as possible to keep the cost of living low.
For sure, we don't need anything more expensive than it is, or more taxes. So, and getting into some economical issues, I was wondering, what are your plans to help lower the power bill or freeze the rates, and the way the public utility is set up and the power companies are set up in Virginia? It just always made me feel uneasy. I know it's the law, but I know power bills have been through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's in Virginia we have regulated monopolies, regulated by the state, and in our area it's Appalachian Power, and other parts of the state, Dominion Energy. Dominion's the top producer in the state, or has the most customers, and Appalachian Power second. And it's really just out of control. And in the past, legislators all over the state have taken a lot of campaign contributions from both of those companies. And
Yeah.
I just don't think it's right that should be happening. And early on, from the outset of my campaign, I said I'm not accepting major monopoly utility company donations.
Yeah.
Contributions.
Well, and
that
that
we're supposed to be holding these people accountable, because our citizens, they have to pay what they don't. There's no competition. Whenever they get a bill, they want electricity, it has to go through Appalachian Power here.
right.
And we're what's got to stand up and fight for the people and try to lower those bills. So that's a good start. In my opinion, is not taking that to scrutinize these companies, not be bought off, and write legislation and support legislation that does not support increases.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question. When I'm looking at campaign donations, Dominion and Appalachian Power donate across the board. They don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. And I just think it's corrupt that a state-controlled monopoly can donate to political candidates that directly affect them. It seems like a huge conflict of interest, and I honestly think it should be against the law.
Absolutely, I do too, or at least limited very much. I would support either. I saw push for limiting campaign contributions to like $5,000 per year per candidate or whatever, and that would be a big change, because right now some of the leadership in both parties are getting millions, up in $1 million a year from Dominion Energy, and that's just not right.
No, it's not.
We're elected to represent the people and try to bring the cost of living down and have reliable energy, and that's not good.
Well, and the biggest thing is if you don't vote their way, they're not going to contribute to your campaign anymore in the next election. So they kind of got you by the hook, and it's just, it's so corrupt. But part of me thinks that maybe, I don't know, I don't want to be a pessimist, but it makes me feel like they're so entrenched. It's going to, even with you in Richmond, it might be hard to pass something.
Yeah, definitely it will be. But there's been this kind of changing of the tides a little bit. They're really losing the grip that they've had, and that's a bipartisan effort. Where there's several members, a lot of members on both sides of the aisle that are not accepting contributions anymore. So that's really changed in the last 5 to 10 years. That used to everybody took them, and now that's really changing a lot. So I think that's a good thing.
Right.
But it takes a lot of money to run these campaigns. But that's we've got to remember that we represent the people, and we got to do what's best for the people, not lobbyists and not major corporations that are making record profits.
Oh, for sure. No, I totally agree, and lobbying can get iffy no matter who it is, but especially when they're government-controlled monopolies, it's even more corrupt. But
absolutely.
Yeah, but we'll switch over. So the last 4 years under Glenn Youngkin, we've had some protection. We've had the power of the veto. When Democrats took complete control of Virginia in 2019, we saw a lot of bad legislation get passed. A lot of things when it comes to the Second Amendment was restricted. I just so I was wondering, what is your stance on the gun control, the Second Amendment, and can we roll back some of those unbearing restrictions if we take full control, or
Yeah, I'm a big Second Amendment advocate. I'm a gun owner. Really enjoy shooting guns. Have a lot of guns. And like you say, there are too many and too restrictive gun laws on the books right now, and I'd like to repeal those. I think whenever the Second Amendment was wrote, it says shall not be infringed. So everybody remembers back in 2020, most of the counties around here, including my county, Grayson, became Second Amendment sanctuaries, and there's the VCDL lobby day whenever they were trying to ban AR-15s and anything above a 10-round magazine. So my theory is if Democrats do take full control, that will happen all again, because Democrat Party, if anything, they went further to the left with their primaries and stuff like that. So
right.
We have to elect Winsome Sears as the governor, and we have to take back the majority in the House of Delegates. Unfortunately, I doubt we'll be able to roll any of those back even if we take control of the House and the governor's mansion, because Democrats still have a 21-19 majority in the Senate.
Well, that's true, but maybe we could set ourselves up in 2 years to make some progress if this election goes well.
Absolutely, that's very important.
And I will say, the quote unquote assault rifles ban really does scare me, because it seems like the courts are allowing that in states that have that. They don't see it as unconstitutional. And I have no doubt in my mind that Abigail Spanberg would sign that into law. I have no doubt in my mind that this new wave of Democrats... See, a lot of the old Democrats, they have either been primaried out or they have retired. Some of the older Democrats would have never went along with this, but the group in the General Assembly now are a lot younger and a lot more radical.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of those more senior members were more conservative for Democrats, and they're gone now. So it's just, I just got to emphasize how important it is for all your listeners to get out and vote, and take your friends and your family and everybody you know to get out and vote Republican.
Absolutely.
To avoid us becoming California East.
Right. That's the last thing that we want. And something else, it relates heavily to what we've been talking about, is the right to life effort of saving unborn babies from abortions has been rolled back intensely, and there's basically no laws protecting unborn children in Virginia. If I had it my way, outside of life of the mother, it would all be gone. But at least I would like it if we could have some protection for babies that are about to be born, and I just don't see that. And I guess what would be your plan to support and bring back more protective measures to save the unborn?
Well, unfortunately, it all boils down to the control of power in the General Assembly. This year's election in the House of Delegates, because you remember last session they passed a constitutional amendment for abortion, and the way that proposed one. So what has to happen there is they pass it 1 year, we have to have an election, which is this year, and then after this election, it'll come back next session. So if the Democrats retain control of the House, they'll pass that once again, and then it'll go to the voters of Virginia on the ballot next November in 26. So the only way of stopping that is a Republican majority. If we get a Republican majority, we can stop it. But it's a very radical amendment. It's pretty much just abortion up to the time of birth, which is just crazy.
And what scares me about that is it would guarantee the right to an abortion all the way up to the moment of birth, and put that in the Constitution, making that a right in the Virginia State Constitution. So if you get full Republican control after that, they cannot reverse that law. It would be a constitutional amendment. They'd have to go through the amendment process all over again.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So, and I'm assuming you'd be a big no vote on that and would support legislation rolling back the measures that don't protect unborn children.
Absolutely, I believe life begins at conception.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And when I was messaging you, I asked you the same question and earlier as we end this interview, but you've been not ashamed to share your faith, and I was just going to ask, what role will your faith have in governance and being a legislature?
Well, it'll have a big part of that, and that's why I'm running. That's why I ran for the board of supervisors. I felt like I was called to do so, and I definitely pray every day to make the right decisions and do things that will honor God. So it's very important to me, my faith.
No, absolutely. I think that's great, and I really appreciate you being open and honest. And I think we need more men of good character and of good faith to run and be part of our state and federal government. It's tough out there. I think there's a lot of people of good character that aren't willing to touch it because how corrupt it is. But I really do appreciate you not neglecting it, not using a cop out of saying this is what I personally believe, but God doesn't have a say in government, that's just a horrible thing to say. That the separation of church and state was never to be a separation of Christ and state, and we have confused that over the years.
Yeah, that's right.
So, well, is there anything else you'd like to leave and tell the voters? And I know that early voting starts soon, and
yeah, I just appreciate the opportunity to do this interview. And early voting starts September 19th, which is next Friday. And it's just, like I say, I appreciate everybody's vote and support, and it's very important that everybody gets out. A lot of people just only vote in presidential elections, which the president is definitely very important, but I would argue that our state elections, our representatives in the House of Delegates, and our statewide candidates, governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general, may even have a bigger impact on our lives than even the president.
I totally agree. Mitchell, thank you so much for coming on. I really wish you the best of luck. I'll personally be praying for you. As soon as the polls open, I'll be casting my vote for you and the rest of the ticket. If you need anything on the campaign trail or need any help, just let me know and message me.
All right, I appreciate that.
All right, have a great day. God bless.
All right, you too.
Bye.